Martin Denny helped spawn a new wave of exotic, erotic sounds, best described as pagan pop, and by the early 1960s, the song titles and album covers were growing more and more suggestive. Tiki music and tiki culture had become so synonymous with sexual liberation that even Hugh Hefner himself, on his weekly television program, decided to throw a Playboy-style luau.
Well, hi, come on in. Well, hello, and welcome.
Oh, hey, vinyl community, and welcome YouTubers from everywhere. Hey, I got my authentic tiki shirt here, right from Amazon, and I got me a tiki mug for my cocktail. Get your tiki mugs out, put a cocktail in there of your choice, and let's look at some Exotica music.
Princess Papuli has plenty papaya. She loves to give them away.
Tiki cuisine was really nothing more than Chinese food served up in a tropical setting. But then again, eating wasn't the point. Mixing Caribbean and Polynesian ingredients, America reinvented the cocktail. These innocent-looking yet potent concoctions with names like the zombie or the scorpion were the fuel that fed tiki culture and provided the perfect antidote for oppressed Americans in the 1950s.
Exotic, erotic. Well, what is Exotica music? Most everyone in the vinyl community knows what Exotica music is. We kind of tell it by the 3 or 4 artists that are really famous for it and by the covers of the music. It's not Hawaiian music, even though the Exotica music, the name Exotica on the Martin Denny album, originated in Hawaii, so we kind of associate it with that, but Hawaiian music is the traditional Hawaiian music, more or less. Doesn't have bird calls and monkey screeching and frogs and that kind of stuff that the Exotica have. It's all kind of an imaginary music. Now, when we say Exotica, here's Arthur Lyman's first record, Taboo. Well, we recognize this as Exotica with no problem. Here's Hawaiian Hi-Fi. Yes, it's not Exotica. This is Hawaiian music. We talk about space-age pop bachelor pad music. In my music collection, I sort by genre, and I have Hawaiian/Exotica genre, and that includes all of those. I don't separate any of those. We're just going to show and talk about Exotica music and records here today. And Exotica is entwined with the tiki culture, especially today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hula Girl.
Now, the tiki culture started in the early 30s in Southern California before we had tiki music, which was given to us by Martin Denny. And kind of in the latter 60s, this music, the tiki culture, all kind of died out, we might say, because of the Vietnam War, a different generation and changes of attitudes. But I can tell you, folks, starting about 2000, tiki music, tiki culture is back. New records are being recorded. You're going to see and hear a little bit about that near the end of the video, so stay tuned. Voodoo, Robert Drasnin. Oh, it has one of those covers that tells you, doesn't it? A lot of the tiki culture and the tiki music originated in Southern California. This record, 1959, Robert Drasnin, he was a Hollywood movie composer and arranger. He did a number of the music for movies, but he really specialized in TV shows. So some that you will recognize, The Twilight Zone, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Mission Impossible, Wild Wild West, Hawaii Five-0, and Lost in Space. And we'll hear a little bit more about him later, because he was going right up almost to the current time. Some of the Exotica records with the great covers are hard to find. Most of them have been reissued. Lots of this stuff has been put on CDs. The music's easy to get. Here's a record you can find in dollar bins everywhere. This was a mint sealed copy, my third copy of it. But if you see what it says on the back, Tahiti's South Sea Spectacular, and this was a show that tourists got to see when they went to Hawaii, and of course they could buy the record. So it's not a bad record. It's a fun thing to have, and it's only $1. Shown this before, Exotic Island. I love this cover. The Surfmen. London Phase 4. Exotic Percussion. Great sounding record, good record. Jungle Drums, Temptation, Bahia, By the Waters of Minnetonka, Flamingo, Caravan. A lot of this kind of music. Command Records did a number of these. Exotic Instrumentals, Webley Edwards. He did a radio show out of Hawaii on the nice Capitol label. Rare Les Baxter's, The Soul of the Drums. I showed this on one of my shorts. Originally 1963. This is a 2022, limited to 1,500 on colored vinyl. Happy to get that one. Oh, look at the color of that vinyl. Les Baxter's Tamboo. We'll have some more music coming up here, folks. You can listen to all of this stuff on YouTube. I don't want to make the video too long. Here's Rainforest Walter Wonderly, Brazil's #1 organist. Now, this maybe starts moving towards the bossa nova, but I can tell you the bossa nova is big in modern tiki culture. I'm leaving Arthur Lyman out of this video. I consider him very significant. I have a lot of his records. He was a native Hawaiian with very little musical training. Makes him a very interesting person. So he will get his own video in these series. Here's his first Taboo. Was a big hit. So they got the Taboo #2. We got Shrunken Heads going on. And how about a little George Cates, Polynesian Percussion, the greatest sound on record, Dot Records, and he was presented by Lawrence Welk. Polynesian percussion, 1961. Next, we're going to go a little early, 1956, Skin Diver Suite, Leo Diamond on harmonica, kind of an interesting record, a fairly scarce record to come by. Discogs calls this easy listening, and one of the wiki pages talking about stuff called it Space Age Pop, and this is one of those records. We're going to go by the cover and the music, so this could easily go in bachelor pad music, couldn't it, just because we have a mermaid on the cover. Interesting music. Here is the sleeper in this group, folks. Perez Prado, Voodoo Suite, 1955. Discog says this is jazz. Yes, we wouldn't have suspected Perez Prado, a very interesting person, maybe the Mambo King, born in Cuba and then later in Mexico. He had a big hit early on with Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White. He had some hits with mambos. He had some hits in movies. About 1968, I saw him in a little club in Sicily. I went up and gave him a tip and said, I'd like to hear Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White. He said, I don't know it. Well, if you got a big hit and you've played it every night for 10 years, you're probably just happy to forget that tune. Voodoo Suite here really is jazz, but... The RCA Victor here too. Well, I love that record. That's a record, if you see it, you want to pick it up. I'm going to show you the music titles here. Jazz tunes. St. James Infirmary, an old New Orleans tune. In the Mood. I Can't Get Started. Stomping at the Savoy. Just to name a few. This record got a store sticker, the Music Mart, New Orleans. This record's been around. I'm going to be watching for some more Perez Prado records. Here's his next record, 1962, Exotic Suite. He's getting in on the Exotica. Original RCA inner sleeve there. These are two of the group of records that I picked up. I've never seen either of these in the wild. I got these. Discog seller had bought a large estate out of Canada. Turned out that guy had similar taste to mine. I picked up 25 records in these kind of categories, Exotica, Space Age, and so forth. Was not familiar with him doing this. It was a surprise. Musically, these are outstanding. If you see these records, pick them up. Check out his wiki page if you have some interest. Quite interesting. And he was the Mambo King, but these records have all kinds of Latin rhythms in there. And the Mambo and the Bossa Nova later become very popular and are very popular in the modern Tiki movement. How we categorize this music, Space Age, Bachelor Pad, Exotica, easy listening. Easy listening for adults was the majority of the music in the 50s and the 60s. So all of that stuff can fit in there. But a lot of times it's the cover. Sometimes it's the music. Sometimes it's just solidly in that category, and often it's just a little bit arbitrary which category we put this music in. Tahitian Percussion from 1961 on the budget label Alphi. I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. I made a note. I thought it was interesting and good sounding. I could not find a sample of this anywhere on the internet, so we're going to have to do an old-fashioned needle drop. Another little grouping, Frankie Carl, piano player, The Tropical Style. I like this record. I got this record for like $1. It was so good, I had to go to Discogs and get another copy. Now, he does a lot of different kinds of stuff. We put this in Exotica because he's doing Quiet Village, Yellow Bird, Valley High, those kinds of tunes. And he's got other things with him besides the piano, some other instruments, some choral voices and so forth. I just really enjoyed that record. Of course, one of the all-time great covers, Martin Denny, Hypnotique. I've showed this record before on the Liberty. 1959 original. Les Baxter's Jungle Jazz. Another one of those Phase 4 Hawaiian Swing. These were made to compete with Command Records. This has got a lot of Hawaiian songs on it, but it's done in a swing style. It's not done in a traditional Hawaiian style. Another one of those, Jungala. Marty Wilson and his orchestra, Warner Brothers. Going by the title here, this could really be bachelor pad music, couldn't it? You'll be seeing some little more Marty Wilson in the bachelor pad section. Here's another one. Cover looks like bachelor pad music, doesn't it? I love these original inner sleeves that show all the stuff. Yeah, but Martin Denny, he gave the music its title, Exotica, so we're going to leave him in that category. We started out there with Robert Dresden's Voodoo. In 2017, he did Voodoo 3. Beautiful colored vinyl. Earlier, on CD only, he did Voodoo 2. He was active throughout all of these years in the Hollywood music business. A quite interesting person. Check out his wiki. Here's a record could go in any of those categories, even Hawaiian, Lovers Luau, Les Paul and Mary Ford. I don't have this in the Hawaiian category just because kind of the style of the arrangements and the music. Really nice 6-Eye Columbia from 1959. Yeah, this is a really good record. Okay, one of the things that's come out of the Tiki involvement, the modern Tiki involvement, and this was always part of it, shown this before, Santo and Johnny Offshore. We might call this surf music. Here's Santo and Johnny again. We're starting to lead into rockabilly, and rockabilly is a big part of the modern Tiki music.
Well, the sun came up over Waikiki town, and the boys grabbed the boards just to paddle around. The girls put the towels out on the sand. I looked at the scene and said, man, oh man. One little girl strummed a great ukulele. She swung her hips to the song she was playing. Washed her lips and she sung so sweetly to me. She sang to me, hula hula, bang bang, hula hula, bang bang, hula hula, bang bang. Yeah, that's just what she sang. That's just what she sang.
Here's a little group of records. These are all new records, modern records. 2018, the Hula Girls. You'll have trouble finding a copy of this record. Nice red vinyl. You saw this early on in the video, this band with the hula dancers. And one of the things these folks do, they do a lot of rockabilly. So on this record is going to be Tiki music, going to be Exotica music. There's going to be rockabilly. Hilo High Flyers. colored vinyl. Often I think these things are limited to like 500 or 1,000, so you kind of get them or you miss out on them. Shake the Rum and the Tropicals. This is out of New Orleans and has one of the top New Orleans trombone players leading the band. Yeah, so we're getting a little New Orleans flavor of the tiki music, just like we had with the Perez Prado. And on one of my shorts, I showed this record, Black Flamingos, Neon Boneyard. These are on High Tide Records. The modern tiki community is going strong. I say, keep 'em spinning, and see you all over at the Tiki Bar.
Happy trail.